Previously on Anything Goes.
But the only news that is fit to be told today is the pregnancy of Kate Middleton.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I was saying to you off the air or whatever, because she's 30, right? Or she's 29?
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel like that's the age when like the chicks gotta pop the babies out. Because I just had my birthday on Friday. I turned 34.
Very nice.
Right, I did. But like a lot of my girlfriends were like, oh my god, if you don't have a baby by the time you're 35, like you're gonna have a downy. And I don't know what that is disturbing on so many respects because that freaks me out.
When you said that downy is just a cutesy, cuddly way of saying Down syndrome, then...
They're saying you're going to have like messed up babies if you have babies after 35.
I know, which is...
Or maybe I'm going to have a fabric softener.
Or if you wanted a Down syndrome baby, then...
They were getting cute.
Well, they don't age. Well, but they live long lives, don't they?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they just live but they don't age mentally, and that's what's cute about them, I suppose.
Neither do you, Dave.
But, well, no, I don't either, but that's my choice. But which I always disagree with when, what's her face, Sarah Palin said that these mentally challenged children or children with special needs are gifts from God. She used to always say that, but I always thought, if that's true, then how come nobody ever wants one? Nobody ever, if it's a gift from God, how would nobody ever wants one? You never hear anyone say, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, just as long as it's retarded, or just as long as it has Down syndrome. I've never heard that. But I think if they were truly going to try to make Down syndrome a little bit more friendly or cutesy, then I always thought that they should put the word boogie on the end of it, so it's boogie Down syndrome. But then they're...
And now... let's get to a new exciting show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for some laughs? Are you? Smoother than a stripper's area. This is Anything Goes with Darren Frost.
How the fuck am I funny?
Dave Martin.
What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
And Kathleen McGee.
And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
Can you dig it? Let's start off right away. So I saw online that you went and saw Kenny last night.
Kathleen, that's you.
No, it's cutting out.
We're not off to a good start.
There,
There we go. So okay. You last night you went and saw Kenny at the comic strip. Yeah, the comic strip, right?
Yeah, it was so good. That's what I miss about stand-up is going to see people that I love live, especially people like Kenny. Like he was so good. He was so funny, and and he had a good weekend, and it just makes me happy to see him on the road. And that's what's been nice about the Western comedy scene right now is.
Well, it cut out.
It did. That's something that actually I miss too. I just realized like what a shit social circle I have.
Right.
Because I mean, everything that like I do is a part of like every social interaction I basically have is going to shows, either performing at shows or hanging out at shows.
Right.
And when you don't have that, it's like I come home to my two cats if I go out at all. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there aren't like a lot of reasons because that's both work and social interaction. There isn't just a lot of like I don't really go out that much. That's what it's sort of like. It's very weird. It's very just depressing a little bit, but there aren't a lot of people that I hang out with in person socially that I can go and hang out with when I don't have a show to go.
Yeah, and with all this social distancing and everything, it obviously makes it harder. And so Kenny, I spoke to Kenny, and he said that he was doing some new riffs on the virus and other things. Did you catch any of it?
Yeah, he was doing it off the top, and they were good. They were just, I don't really remember stuff because I was also drunk.
No, that's fine. But I'm just saying, you noticed that he was doing some new stuff.
Like
jokes. Yeah, that's
good. No, like off the top, like which is what I find most comics are now doing, like lots of COVID off the top, and then
right.
and then they're going back and doing their material and stuff. But you got to work out that COVID stuff.
Right.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think every audience wants to see you break that COVID wall, but at the same time, they don't want like a 45 minutes of all COVID. You know?
Right.
I mean, that would be like.
I mean, it would be possible, but it better be groundbreaking stuff. It can't all be just stuff that, you know, your friend at work might have also said to you.
Right.
You know, kind of stuff. That's the problem with it. It's finding the little, you know, holes where you can at least get some material that isn't just water cooler talk.
Right. I mean, I saw a post of someone's working on an album of all COVID material.
Right.
And I was just like, man, who would? That's just going to be painful after like a year from now or anytime. If you're not listening to it right now, but I think even now you'd just be getting hit over the head with this pandemic, and you just be like, I've had enough. You know, it's enough if it's on the news, but then you're just, and I'm supposed to be laughing and enjoying this, you know?
Right.
Well, I did the Winnipeg Comedy Fest this weekend, and they were like shooting down all COVID material.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there was a gala called Strange Days, and I can't remember, I think it was Ali Hassan was on it, and he said they didn't want any COVID material on it.
Oh,
Right.
I agree with that.
Well, I mean, first of all, like you said, it's overkill. And then in a year from now, because most of those galas aren't going to air for a year.
Right.
And then a year from now, it's going to be like, oh, remember when? That's only the nostalgia factor is only going to be something that can be played with.
Didn't they already have the Winnipeg Comedy Festival like 2 months ago?
Well, not the galas. They did.
Oh, okay. So they were waiting for the galas to happen. And
Kathleen knows. Kathleen was there. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They had to get like permission because when Winnipeg went like spiked, and so they had to get permission to do it.
Right.
I mean, it was weird. It was very different. There were no parties. I got drunk in my room by myself.
Right.
But yeah, I felt bad for the comics where it was their very first time, because it was a very different experience than what it really, really is. But it was fun, and I heard they're airing them this winter.
Oh.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
And then I know that they're already taking submissions for next year.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
They're taping those in May.
Let me write that down because I need to be disappointed in something in a couple of months. So I'll make a note of that.
Now, Dave, I was like the 7th choice. I was not like that. I found out 3 weeks before the taping.
Right.
And I got it because someone else couldn't do it. And that's who I love being that person. I don't need to be the first choice. So one day you might be a 7th choice.
Yay!
I would just be happy to be a choice. You know what I feel bad for? I feel bad for anybody that started 2020 with you know what? My New Year's resolution is going to be to try stand-up comedy. If you did that in January, could you believe that? Then this hits, and then you just, and then it's
now the mics are swarmed though.
Huh?
The mics are swarmed now. There's so many people out here doing comedy.
Yes,
I know, but it's so funny that you'll hear stories from veterans, and those people will be from like, they're telling stories from like 6 months ago or a year ago of like, I remember when I was in a packed room and you could feel the energy, and you kids with your 50 person seat limit, and but yeah, it's I feel bad for those people.
So earlier today,
your eyebrows? Wait, did you dye your eyebrows?
I dyed my hair, and my eyebrows might have gone with it.
You look like, are you being the Munster kid for Halloween?
Eddie Munster?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm just agreeing with your joke, even though I'll be locked up in my condo for Halloween. But yes, I'm going to be Eddie Munster all by myself.
So earlier today, we talked to Jenny, and we'll be posting that episode later. But we got into it a little bit about Borat. Now, she had not seen the new Borat, and you have seen the new Borat. So now we can talk about the new Borat. Me and Dave kind of butted heads a little. Dave was very pro Borat. I was like, I thought it had moments that were funny and moments that were kind of mean-spirited. And that doesn't mean that's bad. But I think that there's certain things that Borat does that can be mean-spirited. And Dave disagreed.
Oh.
I disagree with that too. Like, I think that he should be mean-spirited. Look at the people he's going after. They're all fucking assholes. They don't deserve kindness.
But so for example, we went into the first Borat's a good example. The first movie, when he has the dinner with the people in the rich house and all that, some of those people didn't do anything to Borat. They were just there. And he called that one woman ugly.
We didn't say ugly, but
she had never done anything against him, didn't say she was pro-Trump, didn't say kill Jews, didn't say like anything bad. He just went after her because she was rich. I thought that was too much.
To him before they started. Maybe she was a bitch to him at some point.
You're right, but then you have to see that to justify that spiritedness. For me, I thought it was 10 out of 10. I don't laugh at movies anymore. I laughed at that movie.
Yeah.
And I also thought it was like very, very feminist forward.
Yeah, I said that like as a sequel, Borat was kinder. He was a little nicer. By the end of the movie, he was a little bit more enlightened, or quite a bit more enlightened about equality and the role of women and things like that. And so I was like, even the Terminator in the sequel got nicer. So it's like, I thought it was a great movie, but I also took it with that notion of like, I'm watching this at 12:15 a.m. on Friday morning. I'm in my house. It's a pandemic. This is like a great movie treat, and But I also thought it was funny that Darren didn't like to be fucked over in movies, or he didn't like to have his head fucked with. And
no. So yeah, I was going to bring that up. My argument is this: is that if they're all just everyday people, and that's what we're told, that's fine. But if we're told it's all everyday people, but some people are actors or actresses and it's scripted, then I think that's kind of wrong.
Right.
Because if you're trying to use Borat as this idea of showing what's wrong with America, and it's all everyday people, that makes sense. But the second you add scripted elements to it, then you're fucking with people's emotions. Like, for example, the babysitter supposedly is an actress in the sequel.
The baby, like his daughter?
Babysitter. The black woman that plays the babysitter.
Oh, she's an actor?
Yes. Well, it's not confirmed. It's not confirmed. So, for example, when they show someone being an asshole, they're saying, well, this shows you how America can be and what's wrong with it. But if that person is an actor and that's scripted, you're not actually showing what America is or it can be.
Yeah, but a movie is the same thing. If you can get actors to make you feel some emotion, and then that even can change your opinion about prejudice or race or equality or anything like that, then the actors are doing the same thing, whether you're like really exposing people for real or not. I mean, I know in the first movie, the woman that plays the prostitute turned out she was a comic from L.A.
Yeah, she's an actor.
Yeah, and I could see that the other woman could be an actor too, but if she was great because she seemed really genuine. Mm-hmm. But I think it's like you brought up the scene with when Borat goes into the Holocaust, into the
yes,
the place where Jews go, the
synagogue.
Yes, that's the one.
The place where Jews go. That's what it used to be called. That's what it used to be called.
But I think it's like in that scene. Do you want to explain that scene, Darren?
So my argument earlier also is that it's common knowledge that woman is a Holocaust survivor, and before they shot that footage, they told her that this was what they were going to do. They said that it was like, we're going to come in and everything we're doing is to show how anti-Semitism is a problem, and we're going to be making fun of that and all that. So she knew it was all going to happen, or something was going to happen. So you're getting her experience knowing that, they're fucking with something.
Well,
but my argument is, why did Borat or Sasha have to tell her that first?
Because he's Jewish and she's a Holocaust survivor, and he doesn't want her to look stupid, and that's
okay.
Fair.
But why is he giving that consideration to her?
Because it's
but
his
not
narrative. Because it's he's not out there with the moral compass. It's his narrative. But you go after Rudy Giuliani, you tell him there's a 15-year-old reporter. He thinks she's 15, even though she's 24. And he still pulls his pants out, takes his pants down, and puts his
he
hands.
never found. Okay, so the 15-year-old didn't happen until the father rushed in the room and said she's 15 after he adjusted himself.
He knew she was a 15-year-old reporter.
Okay.
He did?
I don't know about that.
He was aware that he was under the impression that she was 15 years old.
Okay.
He absolutely was.
I think. Sorry, Kathleen, go on.
This movie is not to make people feel like good about themselves. It's going to hurt feelings. It's going to make people look stupid. That's the point of the movie.
Right.
And everyone keeps saying, well, I wish that they would go after the left. Go ahead. Go ahead. Find someone who will do this to Biden. Find someone and see if anybody will fall for this shit. It's always these stupid conservatives that fall for this shit. And people like Trump and people like Rudy Giuliani who want to be celebrities more than anything else.
I think a lot of it is his intent in the scene. Like, that scene was supposed to make Borat become enlightened and realize some of his prejudice. And so I think it's like an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, where Larry David says, we're going to start the scene like this, we're going to end the scene like this. And even if that one woman was a Holocaust survivor and an actress, she was just playing along. And if she knew that the end part of the scene was supposed to be Borat being enlightened, that's where you want to take the scene. It is a movie, so I think there's like a combination of real life interaction, scripted action, and a balance between the two. So I think the movie did its job. I mean, we can talk about this later.
Hey, this is Gavin Crawford. You can follow me on Twitter at TVGavin. You're listening to Anything Goes with Darren Frost and Dave Martin on Sirius XM.
Isn't there a way to check? There we go.
Yay! Everything was just frozen the whole time. That was so weird. Sorry, guys.
Okay, that's all right. So now we're back on. All right. Okay, good. All right. So we're all set here. Okay. Hi, Emily. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know if you've never met Dave or Kathleen before. Dave's in Toronto. Kathleen's in Edmonton, and I'm in Barrie, Ontario, right now.
Fun. I'm in Vaughan.
You're in Vaughan, and we met years ago on the Humble Howard show, Humble and Fred.
We did.
And because of you were there, and I think you were doing like almost a weekly thing on that show at the time, were you? Or
yes, I had a weekly panel there called the Panel of Women.
Right.
We talked about all kinds of love and sex issues. It was fun.
Right. And you are an owner of a massage place called Muse, right? For your last name, Muse Massage, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And how long have you owned that now?
11 years. 11 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
That's a long time.
It is. It's surreal.
And it is a happy ending massage place.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I've always dreamed of working at one of those places.
Oh, really? No, why?
I'll move to Vaughan. I don't know. Like, I just think it'd be fun. I like giving hand jobs. I just feel. The thing about sex work is it's just like it's so stigmatized, but it's like I would feel very powerful in that position.
It's so empowering, and it's so cliche to the stigma, which is irony in itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
I think a blowjob would be more, or more. You're definitely more in power there, or there's more danger to the man. Well, you've got a bear trap. You've got his penis in a bear trap. Technically, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have seen the movie The World According to Garp, and when he drives into the back of that car and his wife is giving the student a blowjob, it's all implied what happens. But yeah. Now, Darren, I have never been to one of these places before. I support them. I totally agree with them. I think they should be out there and legal for those that want them. Now, Now, Darren, have you ever participated in a place like this?
Well, before I was married, I have been to one, yes.
Okay. And Kathleen, have you ever participated in a...
I've never, but I was living in LA and some guy offered me a job at one, and I had a boyfriend at the time, so I called him and I was like, would you be mad so that I could stay here in LA? And he was like, yes, I would be mad. So I didn't get to fulfill my dream, but I couldn't do it, I don't think, in my hometown because I'd be too worried
about, of course, running into people, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's awkward. The one thing is that I find very interesting in your situation, Emily, versus, we'll talk more about massage parlors and all that, but yours is a female-owned operation, which I think in your industry, even especially 11 years ago, wouldn't have been normal. Correct?
It is absolutely rare. We are the only independent female-owned spas. It's a thing, and that's kind of part of why we wanted to do it, because we thought, how would women do it? We do it very, very differently. And my best example is, what if women owned a strip club? How would that go?
Right.
Well, you probably have more Celine Dion playing.
Oh, you're such an idiot, Dave.
I'm joking.
I know way more men that love Celine Dion than women.
Oh, Celine Dion you had a problem with. Okay.
I think that's really cool. I think that's very cool that it's female owned and female operated, because that's kind of why I have an OnlyFans and I've been making money on OnlyFans, and I feel like finally it's just in the hands of women.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think women should be, if that's what they're selling, then I think they should totally be in charge of it. I think putting men involved is sort of like, we don't know what women go through on a daily basis, let alone if they were in that line of work. So, yeah, I think you should put the people that can relate easier to their employees in that position. So,
very much so. I was also a worker for 8 years in parlors before I became an owner. So the empathy level is really, really high, as well as the training level. I was really good at it. And so I'm able to teach everyone what to do. But their hard days are really hard days. And I remember what that's like. So there's just a close bond between myself and Riley, the other owner, and our girl. They are the sweetest ladies, but we can really relate to what they're going through. I remember sometimes even that specific client and what he was like. So
right.
Can you tell us what happens from the time they come in and what happens when you go? What's the process of this? I want to role play with my fiance.
I love it. We cater to couples too, so by all means, come on in and spice it up.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I want to ask you about how that works. If a female comes in and what her deal is. So, but yes, let's start with.
I think in general, about 85% of our clients are guys. The rest is probably about 12% of couples and about 3% of women by themselves that want to come in. That one's very rare, although we do find that we're getting a few more inquiries lately. I think people are opening up a little, which is good.
Yeah.
So your average client, he can either book an appointment ahead or just walk in. He's greeted by one of our managers when he arrives. All our managers are women as well. And so they'll take him right into one of our treatment rooms, and we've really designed our spa to be gorgeous. We don't want it to be rub and tug.
Yeah, creepy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We went really chic hotel, chic spa kind of vibe. And he takes a shower in this beautiful body jet rain shower situation to prepare for his session.
I didn't know that they have to shower before. That's something I didn't realize, and I love that.
It's actually a bylaw of our licensing. So it's not even just us as a preference or COVID or anything like that. It's the rule. You have to be clean before our little mitts get on you. So the guy will do that. The manager will collect all the money and deal with all the book stuff while the client is showering. And then his massage attendant or his muse will come in and start the session. And every session begins with a massage, an actual one. But I always tell people we're not going to fix your bad back. That's not going to happen. Go to your arm.
You're just gonna yeah, you're gonna feel good
for your birthday. Yeah, exactly. And then at some point in the session, clients can stay for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. It starts to get very sexy. It starts to get very naked. and then all kinds of foreplay and body slides and shower fun and all kinds of stuff.
You get naked?
The girl gets naked and the client's naked.
And she slides across his body?
She does kind of like a horizontal lap dance.
Okay.
Oil. Yeah. It's really fun.
But that's not every client. Like, it's kind of like, you know, you can just go in and get a massage and a hand job kind of thing. But then you can also if you want her naked, or like you said, these are all add-ons to the thing, right? So
you know what, though? I'm going to correct you on that, because that's old school. Muse swiped all that out and reinvented the pricing structure.
Okay.
And the whole industry followed suit. It was kind of funny. It used to be on a tipping tier system when I used to work.
Right, right.
And you'd have to...
See, that's how long ago it was for me, Dave.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. You're honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it used to be kind of a system. You could pick topless or nude with touching or body side, and there was like a tipping scale. And it was always kind of a bit of a gamble, regardless of which bar or venue you worked in. There's a little bit of haggling. You'd always worry the customer doesn't have money at the end. Blah, blah, blah. So we scrapped all of that, and we do an all-inclusive. So you pay one price. You get everything. You pay up front. You don't have to. Nobody has to haggle. But at the same time, he doesn't get ripped off either. We're very particular about quality, about full time of his service.
Yeah, no one's getting punked. No one's, and also the girls' pictures are on your site. You know, obviously their eyes aren't. I think are yours blurred out, the eyes?
They're all headless or faceless on our website, but on our social media and their social media, based on their comfort levels, there's some faces.
Right. So you know exactly what you're getting.
Great Yelp reviews.
Yeah. You know.
You do. And Google reviews and TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. I gotta go read these. I can't wait.
Now I'll admit that I used to have. I haven't gone in quite a long time, but I did have we'll say a lap dance habit for a while, maybe about 15 years ago or so. And I'm sure that I made many car payments in my years and my time in the private booth, which I'll have to say it's always a little bit weird if you leave the club and then the girl that you were just with also leaves the club, and then you're sitting in your 2007 Chevy Cobalt, and then you see her get into her bright red shiny Corvette, and you're sort of like, okay, well, I guess I see where those dances were going. That's all right. That's fine. You know, maybe she was paying her way through university. Maybe it was just to buy a car. Whatever it is, I know it went directly to her. So,
but that's a good thing.
Yes.
It goes directly to her.
That is a good thing. So
I'm also interested in if a woman comes in. We kind of got sidetracked. So if a couple comes in, obviously we know what happens there. But if a woman comes in, what is that the average experience?
It's in some ways it's similar. The routine, the payment, all that stuff is the same.
Sure.
But it's a little bit more discussion on comfort levels between the worker and the customer. Some people are there just to relax, and I find women aren't looking for mileage and as much action necessarily. Right. Some are extremely bi-curious and do not want to experiment with a friend or drunk at a bar or anything like that. Once in a blue moon, it's that a boyfriend wants her to try something a little fun. And then her in.
Right.
It's awesome. Unclench her a little bit. Sure. So there's a lot more of that discussion, not in the session, but before even she visits or booking. Tends to be like a call-in or email inquiry with like a million questions. Very much so for couples too. Dudes, not so many questions. They just go in.
Right.
The couples thing sort of interests me. Now, are both the guy and the girl? They're in the same room, and they're both lying down, and so I guess they both have the massage part, and then both of them kick in. Oh, now we're getting sexier. And is it anything like the Polar Bear Express ride at the CNE where you can yell, "Do you want to go sexier?" Woo! And you scream out, and then they play "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey, and then hopefully you come by the keyboard solo.
Now I'm going to need a CD album that plays that at the end.
Or if someone comes in with their own playlist, like I want to come right at Pyromania by Def Leppard. Does that happen? So
is there a time limit for them to come? Because you've been with a dude where you're just like, this is taking forever. Like, has it ever been a moment where you're like, okay, you're not going to get to come because it's just not working?
It absolutely happens once in a blue moon. It's not common, but it does happen. Even when I was a worker, it happened once in a while. And it could be from any guy, any age, any cliche or taboo along the lines. Stressed is stressed, and that's just the way it's going to go,
Or, that's those guys who just like cranked it off 3 times beforehand to make sure that they could get their full hour. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right? Like,
is that what you did, Darren?
No. But I've talked to other girls that have worked in your line of business, and that's obviously what guys would do.
Some definitely.
Yeah.
Whereas the couple situation, they have options. They could have one girl, or they could have 2 girls and 2 tables. Which I think when you go to a regular spa and do a couples massage, it's 2 tables, 2 massage people.
Yeah.
So you can pick that kind of threesome or 2 and 2 kind of setting.
Right.
And you know what? I find couples really come in for celebratory reasons. So they're there for anniversary, birthday, Valentine's, that kind of vibe.
Divorce?
And it could really be, or what?
Or divorce? Yeah.
Well, that's a whole different kind of couple. The husband and the girlfriend is a whole different scenario.
Yeah.
But they're really, it depends on the dynamic in the room. If it's his birthday, it's probably going to be all about him and just 2 chicks all over him. If it's her first time and she's really nervous, well, she's going to get the massage first so we can unwind her a little bit. Yeah. And so it's really up to both the manager on duty and the attendant to really discuss with the couple what their limits are and why they're here. What are we celebrating? What do we want to get out of today? And then roll with it from there. And they can be really wild. We get lots of swingers, but we also get swingers that want to take it back to basics for a little bit. They've been kind of going a little hard and want to just reconnect the 2 of them. Or people that are curious and not ready for threesomes, stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that the idea that a guy and a girl would go together and then the girl would go first and the guy would watch her getting massaged and then the girl would watch the guy getting massaged. That makes a little bit more sense to me than the guy going to business on himself and then her getting the business done.
Right.
Well, no, he'd be involved. We teach you a few massage tricks too, so that all hands are on deck. Everyone should be connected at all times. There really shouldn't be that much of a separation, unless he's a cuckold and likes to watch, and that's cool too.
That's what we're gonna do.
Now, I have a quick question. So I know that, like, sort of like in the medical world, that like a lot of the time doctors are not always the most personable, and usually it's like the nurses that are more personable, and they sometimes have better people skills. Or I'm just curious, like if a guy goes in and if he's in like a weird headspace or something like that, and he personally cannot perform. Or he cannot get aroused. It's like, how do you teach the girls what to say to maybe make the guy more relaxed and make him feel more at home? Maybe not more at home, but more I don't know, just more chilled out so he can sort of get his blood flowing and he can do what he came there for.
Dave's just looking for tips when he's too nervous.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I would go in with a necklace of a candy necklace of Viagra. I would go in there so aroused in the first place that I would just need to fill out my credit card form and I would get a boner. But so what happens to guys if they're not mentally there?
You know what? It's very rare, but I will say that at least from my experience, is usually with someone brand new. They're so nervous. They're overthinking. They've probably been overthinking for days, if not weeks, depending on how long they've been thinking about this or when they booked the appointment. And nervousness and newness can be both a pro and a con in any sexual encounter. It can add to the excitement, but you're right. It can almost psych you out a little bit. So the girls are really personal. Their job is to connect with someone on a human level. And so there are times where that, like, the naughty stuff doesn't even matter. We want you to be comfortable first.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you're even like a therapist. Sometimes.
You know what? And that's the other thing is the more comfortable in like home it becomes, the more the sessions turn into therapy sessions.
Are there a lot of regulars?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd say about 70% of our business is regulars.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, and how many do you think, how many people coming in are like married guys that aren't really getting this at home, and they have a perfectly good marriage and they still love their wife, but there's certain things that they're not getting at home that they come to a place like that you run and get that taken care of, and then
they run into their wife visiting as well.
80%.
Yeah. I get that.
Now in the COVID world, right? Things have obviously changed, and just thinking about your business. I mean, there's was it 2 masks? One for the face, one for the cock? I mean,
is she wearing a mask? Because I think that should be.
Like, how is it all all jokes aside, COVID precautions? What has to happen? How has your business changed?
Well, like everyone else, we were closed for about 5.5 months.
Right.
We got to open in phase 2, which was great. Unfortunately for strip clubs, they are not currently open, so that has definitely benefited us. But the difference is being a one-on-one environment versus a group setting.
Sure.
Alcohol, no alcohol, party, late night, etc. So we have installed all of the guidelines that we've been given from both federal, provincial, and our bylaw licensing. Every customer and staff member that comes in is temperature checked. Mask is mandatory in all of the common areas. We have more hand sanitizing stations than I've ever seen in the place. It is so not sexy, but so required. We've had to revamp all of our deep cleaning procedures to not just happen, X amount of intervals, as opposed to every human that walks in.
Right.
As for the sessions themselves, there are definitely girls that prefer to wear a mask. They might have someone vulnerable at home. And same for customers. It's really up to them and their comfort levels if they keep it on. We also have something called milking tables, and our really nervous customers keep their mask on. And the milking table is the big hole in the massage table where your dick hangs down. And
we've talked about milking tables.
We all know what a milking table is.
Okay,
Let's not kid ourselves. Yeah.
Well, the audience might not.
Yeah, I know.
So he can keep his mask on. They're technically at least 4 feet apart, and it's a hand job under the table. So at least it's a really kind of cool option. And who doesn't like a glory hole when you can find one?
Yeah, of course.
Now I was also curious. What is the skill level of the employees when it just comes to giving a massage? Like, if someone, like, how skilled are they in the massage department? Because I'm always sort of like, A, I can jerk myself off. B, and I've had practice. But also it's sort of like, if you go to a place like that, I'd want at least, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd at least like a level 6 massage. And then afterwards, we'll get the business done. But also, I've never been, because I always find I'm in so much pain when I get a massage from just the stress, my own personal stress. So I've never been one of those people that gets aroused during a massage.
Well, I think that depends on the type of massage that you're getting. Yeah. If you're going in for deep tissue or therapeutic, they're going to hurt you on purpose. It's supposed to hurt, and it's going to hurt for days afterwards. Whereas what we're doing is much more sensual and relaxation focused. Yeah. That said, I'm surprised how often guys will look back at the girl and go, "Oh, you actually know how to give a massage." It's like, well, does the stripper know how to dance? I hope so.
No, that's always.
But at the same time, it's not all just hand jobs too. Like the way your happy ending comes about, that's the joy of body slides. There's
what else can happen?
All kinds of fun shit.
Now, have you ever thought in a time of does the guy getting the massage and happy ending, does he have to wear a mask?
It's his choice.
Oh, it's his choice.
Yeah, she just said that. You're not listening to her.
Well, I am, but I'm also focused on the hand part.
On getting a good massage.
But also, so what? Okay, can I say for the record that I think one of those face shields would be sexier? than a mask.
I think one of our girls actually has one because she hates the concept of the mask.
Right.
We have some branded Muse masks that are pretty cool too. So.
Okay. Well, what's her name? I like her already.
I like the idea of the face mask because then I can picture it's like I'm getting jacked off at like a Chernobyl meltdown. You know what I mean? And she's got the face mask. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Right, Dave?
Yeah.
Get a great massage and then a meltdown.
Yeah, a head to toe hazmat suit is what I want. And then at the end of the massage, I want a big alarm to go off and someone in Russian telling me to leave the facility.
And then Cher runs in and it's like fucking Silkwood.
Whoa. Oh, man, that's a reference.
Have you ever had a guy come in that you're super attracted to?
Good question.
Yeah. Yes, it happens.
And you're like, yay, good day.
It's a great day. Absolutely. You know what's funny is some of my girls that have been around for a long time, they all have what they call a spa boyfriend, and it's always the cute one. And they fight over them sometimes, which I think is hilarious. And that's my boyfriend. No, that's my boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, their own boyfriends have no idea they're here. I don't know.
And what about dating clients? I mean, that obviously has happened in the past. It's I'm sure it's not, welcomed or wanted, but it's probably happened. And how do you deal with that?
It happens. I don't recommend it, but at the same time, it's only through experience can people learn their own lessons.
Right.
The problem is he's fine with you working there when he's a customer, and he's fine with you working there when it first gets romantical, and then all of a sudden he has a big fucking problem with it.
Right.
And then once she stops working, he starts creeping back and going to other spas instead of where she worked. And meanwhile, friends have moved around, and next thing you know, a friend sees your man there, and it all explodes to shit. So, or you find out he's really married and has been lying, and his name's not Bob. I mean, I don't know. It never goes well.
It's always one of those weird scenarios when every guy talks about, oh man, I want to date a stripper, or I want to date a porn star, and then and then when they go to work, and then she comes home, and then she's got like $600 in 20s, and then the guy's sort of like, hey, where did those come from? It's sort of like, hey, well, how do you think that she got you to spend all that money in the first place? And it's sort of like, of course she's going to use the same skills that she lured you in with, and then now it's sort of, so it's. And I don't. And if a guy had an issue with someone being a stripper, I don't know how he could not have an issue with someone being like a porn star. And I'm like, so I'm.
It depends. We have some dirty strip clubs and some very clean porn stars. It just depends.
Yes, of course.
Now, have you back in the day before you owned Muse? Did you ever, while you were working, walk into a room and recognize someone like you knew them, and they may not have known that you were doing what you did?
I didn't have that bad of a scenario. A good friend of my boyfriend at the time, his brother lived with us, and his brother's best friend came in to see me. But he knew I worked in the business. He didn't know where.
Okay.
But as soon as he figured out where, he specifically targeted me to see. And I was like, you're sneaky.
Right.
Because I want to see you on the weekend in a social, personal setting, and that's going to be awkward. But he used a fake name. I maintained my work name, and we did business. But
I just have this horror of like you're walking in. It's like, oh my God, my dad's golf partner.
Like that's why I couldn't do it.
Staff and friends of mine for sure. Like your college professor walks in or something.
Right.
And the irony is that usually the client is 10 times more nervous than you are.
Yes. Right.
Because you're gonna fuck up my marriage, my job. You're gonna tell my wife. You're gonna, oh my God, you know me. And then there's the arousal part of like. So I'm the teacher, you're the student, and we can actually do this.
Right.
And that just makes it hotter.
It adds so much extra that it becomes sexy in and of itself. But the initial, I can tell when I'm in the spa if it's happened, I know what the scream and kind of like buzz sounds like when a girl is really spooked because someone she knows came in.
Oh, right. Now I was just curious if like, is there in each room, is there an alarm that she can hit if things go crazy for whatever reason, or if she
you're talking safety issues, Dave?
Yeah, like a safety issue. Is there like like one of those strips at on the TTT when you have to stop the car or something like that? But it's
surprisingly no, and it's because our bylaws don't allow it. It's a very big ticket. And their perspective on that is it's a warning signal that enforcement is here to inspect, which is license check. So we're not allowed to flash a red light in the rooms to say, hey, cops are here, bylaws here.
Right.
Our standpoint is in an emergency, that would be nice to have. Yes. The same goes for camera surveillance. We're actually not allowed to have camera surveillance, which would never happen in the massage rooms. I mean, in the common area.
Yeah. For safety,
we're not even allowed to do that. We do anyway, and we take the ticket for it, and they do ticket for it. But to me, that's worth the ticket, then not.
Right.
But the one with a warning system is a much higher ticket. And try as we might to fight it in court and through lobbying, they don't budge.
Well, I was thinking more on the lines of like, if like a guy in the room gets a little bit too touchy-feely, and if she feels like she's in danger or trapped, if there was a button for her to like...
but that's what she's saying. They'd like to, but they can't because the bylaw says they can't do it.
Because the good thing is that it's very rare that a scenario, at least in our spas, that happens because of the caliber and class and price point. We attract a very different kind of customer. We're not open late night either. We close at midnight, so we're not dealing with.
You're not doing the 3 a.m. The strip club is closed. I want to get jacked off.
The call makes me kind of nervous. So that's great. But if a girl's ever that uncomfortable, she can scream. We can hear you, or you can leave the room at any given time. And there's at least 5 bodies in the spa at any given time.
See, it seems to me it's funny that like that someone would go to your establishment and be surprised that he would run into someone that like I've gone to many restaurants, but I've never been like one to look up a Yelp review before I go. But I think your place is the one place that I would like. I would Yelp review it. I would look up all the reviews I could. I would sort of examine. I would read reviews. I would even scope out the place. I would do a bit of reconnaissance, sort of like I'd walk past the place in person a couple of times just to feel.
Oh my God,
but I mean, to be like, what? Oh my God, you!
I'd get a disguise.
Yeah.
I'd buy a burner phone.
Big glasses and a big goofy mustache.
Yeah.
Back in my day, guys used to walk in with like a hoodie and like the shades or a magazine or a newspaper. Totally cliche.
You thought you were working up the Unabomber
back then.
Yeah.
But nowadays, there's guys that come in groups and like they're friends on Twitter with their fake names and their little handles. And they're all like, hey, are we meeting at Muse on Saturday after the game? And it's like a social thing, which I don't get it. I'm used to privacy. But if they like it, they're happy.
But I think you said it. Like, it's, first of all, it's a spa. It's not some dingy, low, light room with a roll of toilet paper in the corner. The price point is better. It's, it's a setup for a different experience.
Yeah.
But, that's also, I think, how the industry has changed in the last 11 years, that could happen and that price point can be accepted and people can go, that's why it's that much,
And that's why our competitors hate us so much, is because we push them to spend more money and to work harder and to kind of revamp what they were doing for 40 some odd years the same.
So you're like the Subway subs. You're like the Subway subs of that business, because Mr. Sub was garbage till Subway came along, and then Subway came along, and Mr. Sub had to get better. So
and then Quiznos came along, and everybody stepped up their game.
Yes,
everybody had to toast their buns.
We're all in the footlong business. I get it. I get it.
Have you ever been given a happy ending for yourself as a tip, or is that like it's just no, you don't do that?
The girls get lots of touching. It has nothing to do with tip. The clients are allowed to massage and touch the girls as well. And a lot of clients really care that the girl has an orgasm or at least enjoys herself during.
So you can have an orgasm at work?
Lots of times. All the time.
God, what am I doing with my life?
A good day is a lot of money and you get to come.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but doesn't that depend on the guy's skills? Because like I've.
Well, yes, David. It does depend on the guy's skill.
That has to be said?
No, I'm just saying, if the guy's not good at it...
Steve has never made a woman come, so he doesn't know.
That is not true. There's no video evidence, but I've written testimonials.
Dave has Yelp reviews.
Yeah, I got a couple of Yelp reviews out there, so yeah, that's not true.
If he's not good at it, I'm sure he's never made anybody come. So we also can teach.
Yes.
No, I got skills. Don't worry about that.
What's the average age? Like, are there women like in their 40s doing this? Like, because there's got to be like a
good question
demographic for that.
In the industry in general, could be anywhere from 18 to 50. In terms of at Muse, we're 20. I think our oldest attendant right now is 36. So it's the range. Some of our managers are a little older. I'm older.
Like, okay, so what if a guy comes in and he wants the attendant to wear like a spooky mask, like the Scream mask, or Richard Nixon, or
Donald Trump.
Or Donald Trump. Yeah.
God.
What if I want to get jacked off by by Donald Trump or Justin Trudeau or something like that?
Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah,
I'd rather stick to regular fetishes and themes. If you need a schoolgirl, we can arrange that. If it was, honestly, God, I don't have many requests where there's never a time where everyone says no. There's going to be at least one or two girls that would say, I'll do it. I'm up for that.
Sure.
I don't know if anyone would want to wear a Trump mask.
And what sort of playlist of music goes on while you're at the spa? Like, do you set it, or can a client come in and say, this is what I like to hear?
I love client requests. I think it's awesome. That said, I hate when I walk into the spa and there's a bunch of hip hop playing. It's not a nightclub. I think it's stupid. The girls like some of it. I think it depends on the energy of the spa that day.
Yeah.
If it's really busy and it's really bumping loud, fine, whatever. But for the most part, I love when it's like Latin jazz or something that's like upbeat but still kind of sexy.
How many men can you service at one? Not yourself, but like how many rooms are in your spa?
5 rooms and 5 girls, and we've got 2 locations.
Wow.
And the average time that someone spends with you is like 45 minutes, half an hour?
45 minutes. People tend to pick either 30 or 60 minutes more often than a 45, but if you average it out, it's about 45 minutes stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about the idea of, because the technology is so crazy, people can smuggle in their phones or little cameras and all kinds of shit. Like, you must have busted people trying to do, maybe not because it's a spa and the price point, and that's happening at the more sketchier places, but that has to be a concern, right?
In the 11 years, luckily back in my day, that wasn't a thing. Tech wasn't there. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
But since Muse has been open twice, we've caught someone trying to do it. We caught them very quickly. We have lock boxes for the clients to lock up their belongings so that their stuff is safe in the massage room. And I always tell girls, if you see, client leaves his phone on the counter or anything like that, always cover it with a towel. Throw something over top.
Right.
Gym bag, whatever it may be.
Yeah, because they may have forgotten it by accident, but you have to assume that something weird's going on. Right.
I don't know if I'd ever give credit for by accident, but in theory, yes. Cover any electronics because it's safer that way than not.
If you see someone walk in with a tripod and starts, that'd be like, man, I don't know about that.
And not just in their pants, Dave. And not just in their pants. Yeah.
Now
what is an average payday for a week of work? Like just like a 5-day week? What's an average? How much you might make?
You know what? Average girls don't work 5 days a week. Average is about 3 days a week. I think that is as much as they need to be there, to be honest. And a slow shift is $300, $400. A busy shift is $1,200, $1,500.
Oh my God! What have I been doing with my life?
Makes OnlyFans look like shit, eh?
Kathleen, you got to open up the Muse Edmonton location.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to Adam. Maybe he can cater it.
Licensing in Edmonton would allow for that. Actually, Edmonton has legalized brothels as well.
Edmonton has like a lot of like stretched out. I mean, I think all prostitution and sex work should be legal for the safety of the women. I don't give a shit about the men really, but I think that the reason why there's so many crimes against women in the sex worker industry is because they're not protected.
Right.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
Well, for me, the reason I like your business is because it is women are getting the money. It's not, there's no pimp involved. There's none of that. It's like the person who's doing the work is getting the money, and
they get their money. We
not being
collect
stepped on 5 times. It's they're doing the, and I don't feel like you're smuggling Russian girls to do the work. I feel the women there
are support Canadian.
They want to do it. No, but you know what I'm saying,
right?
You
tell more women that they can make like $3,000 a week just giving a couple of hand jobs. I think they'd be like, yeah, I'll do that.
But to me, it's like dancers. It's when I had my strip club phase back in the day. I never liked it when it seemed like I was at a place that it's kind of none of the girls like to be there.
Yeah.
I know hustle and it's a game, but they're there because they want to be there. That's the dancers I always wanted to talk to, not the ones that are like feeling like this is kind of sketchy and forced. And, you know,
Absolutely.
Can we get back to that part about brothels being legal in Edmonton?
Yeah.
And how fast can you help me sell my condo so I can move? Okay.
All of the above.
Now I have a quick question. What if I came in there with a strobe light, and that was sort of a big deal to me? That like I want the strobe light to go, and if it was in sync with whatever playlist I had, and
what are your fantasies, Dave? Because they're fucked up.
They're different.
well, I don't,
you see that face Kathleen has right now? When they dated, that was her face the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time. Well, what the fuck, Dave? What the fuck?
you know. So did I get an answer for if I come in with a strobe light?
Oh my
Or with
god.
one of those sort of like lights that like projects the stars up on the ceiling?
That could be cool. I'd lean more to the stars than the strobe light.
Okay.
Yeah. Who wants to have a fucking aneurysm when you come,
Right?
Dave?
Don't give anyone a seizure.
What do you...
If I'm gonna have an aneurysm, I want it to happen right when I'm about to come. So
Exactly. So,
After.
all right. So if people want to see or book an appointment, where can they go? Send out your digits and info.
Hit us up on the internet, www.musemassagespa.com. We are also on Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook and you name it. We're on everything. Direct line phone number is 416-739-6668. And you get a choice of extensions based on which location.
all right.
Where are the two locations again? Where are they?
One is in Toronto. It's near York University. And the other one is in Vaughan at Highway 7 in Creditstone.
Okay.
Now, I think a good second business to open would be right beside one of your businesses. Have a good sandwich shop.
Nah,
You know,
for sure.
yeah. So as soon as they leave, they'd be like, "I'd love a Montreal smoked meat, or I'd love a turkey sub." That'd be good. I think that
We
would.
have an espresso bar. We're not allowed to sell food. We've tried.
Oh no, but
that would be a thing.
next door and just be like, "Oh, here's a free bag of chips that you could get next door with your first purchase of a sandwich."
Like yeah.
I think that'd be a good idea.
All right. Well, thank you, Emily. Appreciate you coming by.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
All right. Possibly
All right.
see you soon.
Awesome.
Yes. Dave's going to be coming by.
Yay!
And maybe meet my wife. Meet my wife, maybe. I'll talk.
Hang on. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Listen up out there. This is
Jeremy Hotz.
and Pat Thornton, and
you're listening to Darren Frost and Dave Martin on Anything Goes on Canada Laughs.
All right. Well, I'll log on to Instagram after this and check that out. I just, but even when I was going to strip clubs, it wasn't even so much about the lap dances. Is that I like to see the girls on stage
Performing their art.
They are performing, and I like to see the girls on stage. I like to sit at the bar. I don't like to talk to anybody at the bar. But I mean, it's just as much to have a drink and sit back and enjoy the atmosphere of it, because you are paying for the atmosphere. Because if you're getting a bottle of beer and it's like $8 or whatever it is now, I don't know, but it's like if you go, so it's like the idea of I don't know. I guess I'm not big on one night stands either. So it's like it's just the idea of just going there for a hand job just seems like. I don't know. Just I don't completely get it. But
Well, report back when you do go.
Okay. If I go, I'll tell you about it.
You should go. You should go. I think that you should do that for next Monday.
Yeah, report back.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
There's nothing else to do right now. You were complaining about you have no social activities. Well, go and shop.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a social activity. I always said I mean, only if I start going there a lot. I always said it was weird when I would go to a strip club so often that the bartender and the bouncer would recognize me. and they would know exactly what drink I want, right before I order it and stuff. And that was always like, ooh, maybe I'm spending too much time here. But actually, one thing I wanted to ask her was like, if after the shower, if there's lubricant involved, why don't they just spray someone down with hand sanitizer, and then so they're already lubed up like that? But
you don't get lubed up from hand sanitizer. It dries up in days.
Yeah, no, I just realized that now. So
that's why not every question should be asked, Dave. Good, that was good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you want? Do you know that one story, Darren, about a mutual friend of ours that went to a massage parlor, rub and tug, and walked in, and there was a TV going, and there's a bunch of people that were already sitting down there, and of course, most guys don't make eye contact.
Oh, and the commercial came on with that person in it.
Right. Yeah, there's a friend of ours that gets a lot of commercials, and so he went in, he sat down. Yeah. Everyone looked at him for a second to make sure it's someone they didn't know. Yeah. And then everyone starts, just staring back down at the floor, waiting to get called, or they're looking at the TV. And then so this guy's commercial comes on the TV, and then right after it goes to the next commercial, everybody in the room looks at the guy and goes, "Aren't you the guy that was just in that commercial?" And then didn't our friend just get up and leave at that point? Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a story now off the record. So this can't be in the show.
Oh, this is not in the show.
Yeah, this is not in the show now.
Okay, so I question why you're telling it to us, but okay.
So, hold on, because I'll tell you guys, but I don't want to broadcast it.
Okay, all right. It's not in the show anymore. Listen up. Okay.